All right, guys, welcome back to Above Ground World News, July 22nd, 2019. We're reporting from FEMA Region 7. Now, every storm is a rain bomb. Every single storm. Instead of getting a quarter inch of rain, we're getting inches. In some cases, feet. It's the new normal, and we're going to show you why that's the case. You want to know why the weather's weird? It's because it's all being adjusted. They call it weather moderation and all kinds of other different names. Anyway, welcome in, guys. Much love out there. Here we go. We're going to jump into this. We got so many articles to get into. In fact, before we get into the articles, I took a little quick video last night of the storm that was coming in before the show, and then we just got blasted so hard after the show, like right when the last song ended, the internet went down, the TV went down, and a monsoon come down. It washed a rut in my driveway about 1.5 feet deep all the way across the driveway. The roads are washed out. My dam overflowed, moving giant boulders. But here I took a picture, I took a little quick video of the storm coming around. So here let me show you that before we jump into all this other stuff here. See if I can get it to go here. That's what it looked like rolling in around the corner, and it's coming in from the wrong way. You notice the 90-degree line straight down? Isn't that crazy, man? It's not really showing up real clear, but it was pretty wild looking, just like a typical rain bomb. Here, I'll fast forward a little bit. I think I zoom in on the clouds, and they are just freaking cruising. See if I can fast forward a little bit. Well, maybe I didn't. Anyway, here, let me add a photo in here while we got it on this scene, and show you the spraying operations today. Let me bring this in here. And I got a lot of emails, and everybody sent me pretty much the same picture. You have the real white puffy clouds that are way too low in the sky because of all the atmospheric compression, but then you have the aerosol lines. Now this looked just like this up in Maine, Pennsylvania, all the places that you guys sent me photos. It looked just like this. A little bit of fair weather real clouds with the man-made engineered clouds. So let me get back over to the other scene. How's the audio out there? Audio coming in okay? I've been trying to fine-tune the adjustments. This keeps over-modulating. I don't know what's going on. So, hey, let's get into why these storms are putting out so much precipitation. Well, right here, this just come out on June 6, 2019. This is the Texas licensing. The Texas License Bureau. This was the June 6, 2019 meeting of the Weather Modification Advisory Committee in Austin, Texas. Let's just play a little bit of this clip.
Anything else, Carla?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. General Counsel report.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Brad Bowman, General Counsel.
I wanted to briefly update you on a couple of rule items that the committee considered at your last meeting, and just kind of let you know what happened with those items. The first was some amendments to Rule 79.33, which the committee voted to recommend at your last meeting. The commission did it, that had to do with reporting requirements, streamlining some reporting requirements for the weather modification programs. And that rule was adopted by the commission at their meeting in January and went into effect February 15th. So that rule is now in effect as the committee had recommended. And then the second item was the 4-year rule review, which the committee considered at your last meeting. That's a requirement that every 4 years we have to review all of our administrative rules to see if any changes are needed. There were no changes that were recommended coming out of our discussion last time, but the commission did adopt that also at the January commission meeting and readopted all of the rules for your program at that time as well. So that kind of closes the book on that rule review process as of now, and we'll see that again in another 4 years. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Any questions?
I think I started this a little too early here.
Brings us to item number 3, Office of Innovation Project Management Report.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm George Bomar, Weather Modification Program Specialist in the Office of Innovation and Project Management. Since our last meeting in November, we have had completed the radar-derived assessment of cloud seeding operations done in Texas during 2018. That study is done on an annual basis by Dr. Ruiz out of Texas Tech University. That report just arrived, so it's not loaded on your desktop computer, but I did make a paper copy for you, and I'd like to just point out a number of features of that annual evaluation report. 5 of the cloud seeding projects that are conducted for rain enhancement purposes, 4 of those are included in this assessment. The projects based in White Deer, San Angelo, Pecos, and Pleasanton. In 2018, there were a total of 262 clouds seeded on 87 distinct days.
So he just admitted to 262 cloud seeding operations on 87 different days in 2018, but they call us the conspiracy theorists. They call us the liars. Here they are admitting to Texas they just seeded the clouds while we were having mega floods everywhere, but it didn't stop them from seeding the clouds. Let's just listen to a little bit more of this.
Had at least 1 aircraft in the air seeding in order to enhance the output from young thunderstorms. And I'm going to just refer to a few really significant numbers that are in this report and compare them with the long-term average. Dr. Ruiz has been doing this assessment for a number of years, and as you know, his evaluation is based upon looking at systems, cloud cells, that are seeded and comparing them with the behavior of adjacent convective cells that are not seeded. So it's a target versus control area comparison. And when you do this over a number of years, you pretty much establish what's normal, and you can then identify what appears to be abnormal.
So he just admitted that they've been doing it for a number of years, you know, since like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 90s.
Last year, the season didn't last as long as the typical season of 160 days. The start was later than usual, May 2nd, and the last day of operations was in September on the 19th. As we know from year to year, Mother Nature throws us a different hand, and there just wasn't any seedable convection early in the storm season of 2018. Over half of all of the storms that were seeded were single cell convective storms, 140 to be exact. And I like to look at the numbers of the single cell storms seeded because using Titan, I believe the numbers that Dr. Ruiz provides are most reliable when you're dealing with complexes or systems that have a number of cells in them. It's difficult to identify just what cells get seeded. That analysis is in this as well, but I'm going to refer largely to the single cell storms. There were 13 missed opportunities out of that total number of 262. That's more than is typical, but still a very small percentage of opportunities were missed for various reasons. Some of those systems develop so quickly that an aircraft can't get to them in time to work them. There may have been an outage with equipment. Still, 13 missed opportunities is quite small in comparison to the work that did get done. On the second page under small clouds, I want to refer to several numbers. And again, these are in line with what our research from 2 or 3 decades ago suggested would happen if these storms are seeded in a timely way and are well targeted. For instance, the average life of a seeded storm was 40% longer than the non-seeded storms that were in the neighborhood. The area of the rain event, the amount of rain deposited on an area of the surface, was 35% larger than what we would anticipate. The rain volume was 41% more than.
All right, so there you go. So they're making these storms 35% bigger, and they're dropping 45% more rain. So if you have a storm that's normally going to produce 3 inches of rain, they're putting out 6 inches of rain, which is causing major flooding all across the United States. This is just one city right here. This is the Weather Modification Advisory Committee in Austin, Texas. This is the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation Weather Modification. Here's their P.O. Box 12157, Austin, Texas. We have their phone numbers right here. Who gave them the authority to modify our clouds? They don't own the clouds. This is our air, our skies. These people need to be stopped. So here's just one spot. And if you go to the Texas License Bureau, you can apply for a cloud seeding license. I've shown it before, but here's just another confirmation of what they're doing. This is why the weather is so messed up. And this is just one small aspect of the weather modification that's going on every single day worldwide. Now, this rain bomb that we had here in Missouri last night caused all kinds of havoc. This one here, this was up in Jeff City. The fire department, heavy rain caused apartment complex roof to collapse. The rain was coming down in sheets. It was destroying stuff from the weight of the rain. The rain's so heavy from all the particulates, all the bunker fuels that are mixed in. Here's another one. Southwest Fire Department believe a flash flood caused Max Creek building to collapse. This isn't too far from us here. Like I said, it washed my brand new driveway away. It broke my brand new dam over. I mean, it was just the most, even though we had all that flooding rain, it didn't wash my driveway away. It went over my dam. But, I mean, this thing moved boulders. Like, I took a video. I didn't upload it here. But it moved giant boulders. It was just powerful. Anyway, let's get into a few headlines. the first report of 5G injury from Switzerland. In a news report comes from Switzerland where 5G has been launched in 102 locations. The weekly French language Swiss magazine interviewed people living in the area, roll out with alarming details of illness. In their article, with 5G we feel like guinea pigs. This come in here on July 18, 29. They report neighbors met to discuss their many common symptoms and many unanswered questions. So do you still believe in Trump? He's wanting the 5G, the 6G. It's all coming. He is just a puppet. He's following the New World Order agenda. Oh, did I close the wrong one? More flooding right now here in Missouri because of the release from the Missouri River dams. So they're opening these dams up all the way from, North Dakota down, and they're still flooding the areas out. So it's not over. Here's a video in Iowa. Marina dock gets swept away in the storm, the same storm that hit us. That's a huge dock, man. I mean, that is a huge dock. Let's see if I can play it here. Look at that. Look at that thing blowing that over. This whole dock is getting ready to crash into that dock. These storms are nuts, man. These are not normal storms. These are manipulated storms. I was going to go here. I can't remember what I had here on the Facebook page. I don't remember. Oh, check out this crazy cloud in Indonesia from yesterday. Let me play this. This is pretty insane. Check out that cloud, man. That looks like some ionospheric heating with the plasma ray hitting the ionosphere, burning through the clouds. That is one strange cloud. So yeah, pretty crazy right there coming out of Indonesia. Not normal. Violent eruption of a volcano in Peru. I think this was a couple days ago. Yeah, the 19th. Hundreds of people living near the Ubinas volcano have been evacuated after the volcanic peak erupted. Ash flume of 40,000 feet. I know we had some more earthquakes today. We'll try to get into that if we get time. Here goes more levee repairs to begin, but the flood waters remain too high. They can't do it. I still can't hear nothing from the farmers, man. I don't know that I'm going to get to go up to Omaha this week. If I do, I'm going to document the trip up there. I'm going to stop at every gas station I can and try to find out where these missing farmers are. Hey, thanks out there, Blue Pill. Remember yesterday I showed you the video of the drones with flamethrowers? Check this out. This is freaking crazy. Look at this. Look at this guy with a gun, man. It's a gun-toting flying soldier during the military parade in Paris. Look at this thing, man. That is just flat out nuts. Seems like it would be too hard to take him out of the sky. There's the other puppet. So yeah, nuts, man. Look at that. This is the kind of crazy stuff that we'll be dealing with once they start their civil war. I didn't really get to look into this. I got the article here. Scientists discover new species of a tiny shark that glows in the dark in the Gulf of Mexico. I wonder if this is a DNA test gone rogue, or if it's from all the toxic stuff out there. I'll dig into that later, though. I'm just speculating on all that. All right, here's another article. I got a lot of these articles I didn't get to look at. I just brought them up. Pollution is personal. As health risks mount and citizens get vocal, cities need to innovate to improve air quality. You know, here we go, showing the smokestacks and the blaming it on the cars. But they're not going to talk about the bunker fuel. Okay, this one here, I think this one was about the buses or the trains or something out there. Hey, thanks out there, William. Much love out there. Or was this on the school buses? See, some of these I didn't get to read, guys, so we're kind of looking at these together. Yeah, they're trying to pawn off that the cars and the, you know, us, that, like it's our fault, but it's not, man. It's all the aircraft. It's all the cargo ships, all the cruise liners. You know, one cruise liner, one luxury cruise liner puts off 1 million cars worth of emissions per day. And then you take into fact all the carbon or the cargo ships that are much worse than that. And then you have the actual weather modification ships, and then the planes and the drones and the ionospheric heat, everything. It's all on purpose to bring the new world order in. And I haven't got to look at this here. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on that. That kind of stuff I need to read because I got to kind of vet through that stuff. Here we go. Mind-reading devices can now access your thoughts and dreams using AI. This is another one of them Eli Musk. Remember, we just talked about the brain technology yesterday. Here's just probably another article on the same thing. Hey, thanks out there, Hillbilly. Antarctic sea ice levels have shrunk to record lows for late June. You know, here's another one of them where they skew the numbers. So they're taking the median ice age from 1981 to 2010. That's like not even a blink of an eye in anything. Like they're just using a little bitty, like, so the ice might have been, you know, pretty big this year to make this look like it's worse than what it is. It's just all nonsense, man. So they're using the lowest level of 40 years of record. What is that? 40 years of records. That is nothing in a time frame. I bet if you took this thing on back, it was way lower than this several times in the past. But yet they want to lie and make it look like everything is melting. Flawed. All flawed. And you know, come to think about it, if you think about the earth and if gravity is true and all that stuff, how do they get an accurate measurement on if the ocean is rising? The plates are constantly moving. The whole crust is moving. You have the pull of the moon, which is pulling the water one way when the moon is closer. All these beaches where the water retreats way out. There's no way to get an accurate measurement on the ocean. It's all a lie. It can't be done. Here's an article on 5 ways the governments keep Native Americans in poverty. And you notice their land's getting smaller and smaller. I didn't get to read this, but just the headline tells you pretty much what's going on with that. Then we got this weird news. American crocodiles thriving outside a nuclear plant. American crocodiles, once headed for extinction, are thriving at an unusual spot in the canal surrounding South Florida nuclear plant. Last week, 73 crocodile hatchlings were rescued by a team of specialists at a Florida power plant, Turkey Point nuclear plant. Wasn't this the one that was leaking back when Hurricane Florence went through there? You know, stuff like turtles and alligators and lizards, man, they've been around since the dinosaurs. Just like the cockroaches, man. If they're dying off, we are in deep, deep trouble. But for some reason, these are living next to a nuclear reactor. Maybe they have something that fights something there. You know, another thing, like, you know, with the crust moving. Now, if you take a glass of water and you fill the glass of water with ice in there and let it melt, it doesn't overflow unless you put salt in it. You know, yeah, I'm not even going to get into that. But yeah, if you do I've done that test before, and it doesn't overflow. It's like the same volume of water, whether it's melted or liquid. But once you add salt in the mix, then it's a little bit different. But here is some more news that just shows you we're in the end of days. Thousands of bones discovered in Vatican crypt in search for missing teenager. You know, I know there's some Bible quotes in the Bible that talk about stuff like this, about the deceived, you know, somewhere like the Vatican. You got all this child porn stuff going on, trafficking. I mean, these guys are supposed to be the priest, the high priest. They're not. They're worshiping the dark side. Studies warn geoengineering causes rise in global neurological disease. Well, of course it does. Instead of addressing the root cause of climate change, government agencies have implemented secretive, large-scale geoengineering projects in effort to deliberately modify the Earth's climate system. Yeah. All right, for the first time ever, scientists identify how many trees to plant and where to plant them to stop the climate crisis. See, they're going to keep on coming up with the climate crisis. They're pushing the New World Order. I mean, they want to get us out of the rural areas. They want to stack and pack us. They will go to no end to keep pushing this thing. You know, I've talked about all the things they could do. You know, definitely plant some trees, but like instead of making the roads black, why don't they make them white? There's tons of things they could have been doing that would help, but they don't do it. This is engineered. I was going to read this. Yeah, I've done that one. I'll read that later. I've done that one before. Like I said, I didn't get to read many of these. We're just going over them together. The human voice has now been declared an environmental hazard. In case you haven't been paying attention. Wait, let me get down here. What is this? Yeah, I need to read that one. Let me get rid of that one. Okay, here goes. It's coming out of the Fox propaganda machine. I mean, I put all these guys together. Fox, MSNBC, CNN, they're all the same. California City will remove gender terms, including manhole and man-made, from municipal code. What the heck? And you know why they're doing this? The reason that they're pushing this transgender, they're pushing trying to figure out what you are, if you're a man or a woman, or, just destroying the kids' minds. This is another thing that they have to do. They have to make everybody like one person. Like, it don't matter if you're a male, female, or if you're both. You know, they want this because they know a stack and pack city will not work unless you're all on the same page. They're going to push this stuff to no end. And it's all part of the Agenda 2030. That's what it's for. We're seeing it every day, how they're pushing these weird things to push in the New World Order. And that's all it's about. Hey, thanks there, what was that? El Puerto. Hey, thanks, brother. Not just bees are dying, trees are dying at an alarming rate. Well, we know that. It's been going on. We know what it is. It's the aerosols, the bunker fuel, the electromagnetic warfare. Another weird article here. Sushi lover entire body left riddled with worms after eating contaminated sashimi. I don't even know what that is. Oh man, now that is not good. That guy is messed up. Oh, this is another one of them uncooked things out of China. Don't they know that there's radiation in the water out there? Unprecedented methane leaks in 6 major U.S. cities. Natural gas, long touted as a cleaner burning alternative to coal, has a leakage problem. Wow, some of these are at 54 ppm. I bet a lot of these are over on the East Coast. A new study found the leaks of methane are twice as big as officials suggest in major cities along the U.S. eastern seaboard. I knew it. That's where all the high levels of the carbon dioxide is. But NASA tried to debunk us. Of course, they retracted it. California leaks still leaking. Agree totally. Anyway, I'll leave all these links will be in the description. Wow, they ain't showing that mass gas leak video I did. Okay. Hey, thanks out there, Bamboo. The San Andreas Fault is about to rupture, and here's what will happen when it does. The director of Southern California Earthquake Center made an announcement recently that would send a chill down every California spine. They say the fault appears to be in critical state and could generate a large earthquake imminently. You know, they've been saying this for years. We know one's coming. Will it be a man-made event? Will they set it off? That's the questions. So we can't do nothing if it's a Mother Nature thing. I mean, if it's a Mother Nature thing, that's going to happen regardless of what anybody does. Maybe they're trying, if that's a nature event, it's nature cleansing the evil. Now, you've talked about the train, the underground train that's going to go from Alaska over to Russia and down into China. Check out this giant tunneling machine that China has. This thing is huge. I'm not going to play the video because they'll get me for it, but the link's in the description. See if I can even fast forward it up here. They're building all these tunnels underground. Remember the ant people where they got ready for some cataclysmic event and they all went underground? That's what they're doing now. See, they're preparing for a event. Us normal people won't be in these tunnels. In fact, these tunnels will probably be their graves. So yeah, crazy stuff. Now you got NASA and NOAA. Now they're taken to the sky to chase the fire smoke. We told you, man, these fires are intentional, and So what are they doing? They're checking. They're up here flying. You know what we see? They're laying chemtrails too, but they're flying through the smoke and tracking it across the world. And I can't remember. I watched this video like at 6 o'clock this morning, man. I can't remember it all, but it's only a 2-minute video. Links in the description. Check it out, because they're trying to check the air quality and the influence on the global environment and the long-term goal of improving and understanding how smoke and fires affect the air quality. It's like another form of geoengineering. Like maybe they started some of these fires as a test to test what kind of impacts it has on the climate. Like it seems like everything they do, they're trying to blanket the sky with some form of one or another. Hey, happy birthday out there, Donna G. I see somebody said it's your birthday. Happy birthday out there. Now this is kind of a dumb article here, but this is how the scientists are. I mean, really. Scientists trace heat wave to massive star at the center of the solar system. Coming out of Pasadena, California, groundbreaking new findings announced Monday suggests the record-setting heat wave plaguing much of the United States may be due to radiation emitted from an enormous star located in the center of the solar system. Man, these guys are dumb. These guys are dumb. So they just wasted people's time writing this article, mocking us. That's what they're doing. Oregon tsunami risk between the devil and the deep blue sea. Haven't read this, so I don't know what this is really about. Houses in the Cannon Beach, Oregon sit inside a tsunami evacuation zone, an area that will be destroyed when a tsunami hits, even though it's now legal for new public facilities to build there. Yeah, if you thought they cared about you, they wouldn't build your homes in floodplains. They wouldn't build them in a tsunami, evacuation zone. They don't care. As long as they line their pockets, it don't matter. This might have been the same article I had the other day. Elon Musk said he tested his brain microchip on monkeys and enabled one to control a computer with its mind. This stuff's coming, the transhumanism. Elon Musk's neurotechnology company Neuralink has pulled back the veil on ambitions to implant chips into people's brains. Now, I did reports a couple months ago where the Chinese planted a human brain into a monkey. And they also did they drilled holes in these people's brains and injected some kind of chip in there, and they would shock them from like a remote chip to get rid of their anxiety. I mean, it's like some kind of modern day lobotomy. I mean, there's just so much crazy stuff going on. It's just unbelievable. All right, let's go ahead and just kind of check a few things out here on the worldview map. Let's go find out where all the aerosols are going on. Wow, what are we? Who knows if this thing's even loaded. So you got a pretty big spraying operation there over Guatemala, down here south of Cuba, Florida, going all the way up the East Coast, just like we thought. And then there's some more spraying going on in Mexico, in Arizona. See if I got the right layers to point them out a little better. Who knows if this is going to load very well. I tried to preload this stuff up here in Utah. Tons of spraying. All this. You can always tell by the color, this grayish color, but then you can see the crisscross patterns. Oh, there was something weird about this area right here. See this? Hopefully you guys can see this one chemtrail right here when I click the layer. Let me click the other layer. Okay, check this out. This is pretty nuts. So there was really just a few little sporadic sprays, like you got this big thick one here, couple big thick short ones, but something was I found strange about this spraying operation right here. This 1 or 2 chemtrails right here. So it's been there. They take another picture 3 hours later. That same chemtrail is still there. It hasn't moved. Look at that. It stayed in place. That is something new. Look, they all did. You got a big X right here, a bunch more grid patterns. But that just blew my mind. I was sitting here looking at this, and I'm like, these chemtrails that are down low are not moving. They're stationary almost. They're stationary chemtrails. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, that I was like, what in the world? It's like it's so thick of a chemtrail that the wind is not blowing. I mean, look at these things. So they're all over the Zion National Park. What a name there. So huge spraying operation here in Utah. It goes up right on down into Arizona. Look at this big X. You got little fires going on over there. So they're spraying around the wilderness, the national forest. That means there's probably going to be fires here in a few days if they're not already burning. So yeah, the spraying operations have commenced again. We knew they wouldn't stop. Southern California is being sprayed. And we got a lot of weird looking clouds here. Whoa, what is this? This looks like military chaff spreading out. You know, we can tell by the colors that it's not a cloud. These are not clouds. These are something else. You know, they're keeping it light. So they're wanting this to kind of soak up some sun rays, kind of dry the ground out a little bit more. And then the fires are going to begin. A little bit of spraying there in Montana. Utah is getting pretty blasted. Let's check where the ship track operations are. If they're out here, let's check it out. So it looks like it's going to be kind of hard to pick them up today. Oh, here's a bunch still over here. Wow, they go all the way over into China. Are they up in the Aleutian Island chain? Which would be up here. The map's not all the way loaded, but yeah, you got a big bunker fuel operation right here in the center of the Pacific. It must be a low pressure right here, or they're splitting a low pressure off out of the high pressure. All right. Oh yeah, I wanted to look real quick to see if that spraying operation was still going on down here off the coast of Peru. Yeah, there's just a few. Yeah, we had a weird ship track operation yesterday down here. It was pretty vast. Oh, here they are up here. So they're moving up. Right now they're across from Ecuador, heading up towards this system up here. So you have mega cloud seeding operations over El Salvador, ship operations of bunker fuel off of Ecuador, and then we go down into Paraguay and Argentina. You got mass spraying operations, heavy spraying operations. Let's go on back up. And of course there's cloud seeding all in the system And it's a mega rain system right here, man. It's super heavy rain. Tons of fake synthetic aerosols being deployed out ahead of the storm. All you gotta do is watch these spraying operations. That's the way they're aiming it. Never fails. Same thing every time. Alright, I don't know if I have this loaded enough to, yeah, we'll check this tomorrow night. We'll get that one going a little better. Let's go ahead and check the radars. Let's play this. We'll see what we're looking at right now. Get a drink of my lemon tea and honey. Rain bomb, Arkansas, or Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana. So the storms are now heading the right direction. So for the last 2-3 days, they've been curving backwards. Well, some of these are still running backwards. Look, all these storms are being sucked the opposite way. All these storms are going the wrong way in the southern part of the United States. They must be using the ionospheric heater down in Peru. Look at this little system down here. I bet the mainstream's hyping that up like crazy. We'll have to check and see where the dust is. See the chemtrails. Little segmented sprays there over Missouri. Look at the chemtrails being deployed out here. Alright, let's go ahead and check the chemtrails. Let me stop that one. We don't need that. Let me go ahead and just get rid of that one real quick. And let's click play here. Let me highlight this so we can see it a little better. Yeah, man, ever since they moved the jet stream, ever since they blocked all the troughs and the ridges, the weather patterns are all messed up. I mean, they're freaked. There's nothing pushing. Look, there's a heck of a cloud seeding operation going on North Dakota, Omaha, Colorado, and then of course we've seen all the ones down here in Nevada and Arizona, Utah. Bunker fuel and fire smoke all mixed in with all this. This is just more seeding. That's why we're getting so much rain. They're loaded. The skies are loaded up. Alright, let's go check the earth null. In fact, let's do a couple little quick things before we do that. So here's our low pressure, tropical depression 3. We got tropical depression 5. Let's check the mimic. I keep forgetting to look at that. I don't think these storms are going to turn into anything. We'll check it here in a minute just to make sure. No, I mean, we need tons. We need thousands of people calling. We need, every person in every neighborhood going to these town hall meetings. We need action. I mean, there's tons of activists out here doing stuff, but they just don't have the numbers. I mean, you go there on Facebook, I'm in like 200 or 300 activist groups. What is going on right here? We have a anomaly. We have some kind of, that's not a stitching error, that's something different. So yeah, the atmospheric river is not spinning whatsoever on that storm. Here, let me zoom in on that because that's looking kind of suspect there. Yeah, the more people we can call and demand answers. I mean, I just showed you guys the Texas License Bureau, the Texas Weather Modification. That's a real company. That's a government company. You can get your cloud seeding license from the Texas License Bureau. So it looks like we may have some kind of energy coming out of the scatter radar that's up in the Arctic up here. because that's where that thing is shooting straight down from. So maybe they're trying to get this thing not to form, or they're trying to pull it up. We'll just keep our eyes on this here over the next day or two. We have another little weird signature coming out of Oregon. Yeah, that's right in line where that scatter radar is up there, going straight down. That's not a stitching stitching error. All right, let's go ahead and check the earth null real quick here. Yeah, the storms are nuts. Hey, thanks out there, Christy. Much love out there. Nice crowd out there. I just looked over. I didn't know we had that many people in here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for spending an hour with this, documenting this stuff, going over all the crazy news. Let's go ahead and check the polar vortex winds. You know, here in a couple months, this thing is going to go back up. And when it does, that's when things are going to get interesting again. So still really high winds at the equator. Let's go ahead and check the jet stream. And look, there's actually almost a little trough. That would keep that thing from turning into a hurricane also. That's going to push it away. So the jet stream is actually starting to bend back down around Lake Michigan. So maybe they're going to let up a little bit. This thing has been completely bypassing the United States for the last month and a half. See, they couldn't have that jet stream coming down when they were flooding out the Midwest. I think it takes them a while to move this jet stream. I don't think they can just like turn some stuff on and move it. I think it takes weeks and weeks to move this thing. Let's go ahead and check the ocean wave heights. I want to see if that anomaly is still down there by, yeah, it definitely died down there by Australia. Let's go ahead and check the sea surface temperatures. Got to check all this stuff, just document. Look at the heat in the Gulf of Mexico, man. We're up in the purples. It's getting ridiculous. The water's getting stagnant out here because of the currents. It's like the currents are not getting in here enough to circulate the water. It's just turning into like a poop pond down here. So, wow. So you got almost the same heat in the Gulf of Mexico as you do over here by Papua New Guinea or wherever this is over here. 89.1 degrees. That is so high. 87.8. So we do got some mega hot water right now. But overall, the ocean doesn't look like it's heating. It looks normal. Nothing, you know, too crazy. So here is our heat anomalies, which we got the one right there. Look, it's growing. The heat anomaly out in the Atlantic is growing. And this looks like it's actually getting bigger again, but it's getting a little weaker up in the Bering Strait. So yeah, there's some kind of funny business going on up here. And you notice where a lot of the bunker fuel operations is in the colder water. That's kind of interesting. See, we got to keep connecting these dots to try to stay ahead of them. Yeah, it's like the Gulf Stream is messed up. The trade winds, when you get to the winds, wow, look at that methane from the fires out here in Russia, man. Russia is completely burning up. Alaska's still burning up. Canada's still burning up. Hopefully that rain that they're getting will help get that fires out. Look at the toxic air here in Southern California. Really bad. What are we looking at here? 401 parts per billion. And the East Coast, mega high, methane leaking over here. Even though this is the carbon monoxide, it's still like a methane, 892 parts. check the carbon dioxide. Pretty bad there in Southern California, but it's way worse up here. We're in the blue right off the coast, so that's not looking too good. That's worse than the fires. You have higher carbon dioxide concentration than the fires. And this pretty much looks the same. Let's go ahead and check the particulates. And here comes the wave of dust. Oh man, that's a massive wave of dust. I was thinking this was going to be a little bit closer by now. Let's go see if we can go up a day. See how close we can get this dust. Oh, is it not loading? Oh, okay, it was just taking it a second. We're back on now. Let's forward it. Oh yeah, that dust is right there. So that dust is definitely going to affect this tropical system, the invest, and then we got a bigger wave of dust. So this looks like it could be a late season hurricane, event this year. They keep up what they're doing, there may not even be a hurricane. Let's go ahead and check the PM 2.5s. Still pretty much looks like yesterday. Alright, let's get out of there. There's one other thing I wanted to check. What was it? Man, I'm getting tired too, guys. Mondays suck. Well, how would you know it don't move the lakes, man? It's hard to say. The ocean is huge. You got to have a huge body to pull a huge body. That's, a lake, man. Who knows? It may be being sucked down too hard. Look at that spraying operation there. Out ahead of this system. Maybe they are trying to conjure something up. That's what I was going to look at. Let's look at the tracks real quick. Yeah, Mondays always suck. So right now they're calling this an advisory 2. Man, this thing ain't gonna turn into nothing. There's too much dust. See what they're showing the track or the so yeah, still showing just a low. I'm sure the mainstream are hyping this up just because it kind of looks like it could form, but it's not going to. No way. Not unless they just start super eating that baby. Let's go ahead and check the forecast models real quick. They're too small, man. Oh wow, they doing it to us again. I can't get to the. It's not going to the forecast models here. Here, let's try the Canadian model. They must be updating it. They may be conjuring up the hurricane. They got to get it in there. Let me go ahead and fast forward this. So you do got a little system down there off the Baja. So yeah, even the Canadian model is not showing any kind of hurricane at all. Not even a tropical storm. It looks like the same storms that they've been working with. We got some super heavy rain here for the Carolinas and Virginia here on Wednesday. Heads up. Yeah, flooding rains. These are rain bombs. So rain bomb headed your way. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a show, man. I'm getting so tired I can't even hardly see straight. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks to everybody who shares this stuff out. That's the only way we can get around the Google censorship. Make sure you subscribe to the backup channels and the BitChutes and the DLives, because they will take us down eventually. Anyway, guys, much love. We'll catch you tomorrow night. We're going to play a couple songs, and then God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Much love, guys. Here we go. Let's rise. Let me mute the mic this time so you guys don't get blasted out.